there's a chance that California could potentially even become a swing state. I know that sounds crazy,
Yeah, it does.
but
the complete collapsing of the Democratic Party. This party refuses to recognize that it has lost its way.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
The good news is that the Democrat Party is in complete collapse. And the bad news is, well, I don't have any bad news for you today. It's all good news. Welcome to John Mike Keene as we document the complete collapse of the Democrat Party, even to a point of turning California into a swing state for Republicans.
well, I do think it's a sign of a shift. And if the situation on the ground doesn't improve, I do think that there's a chance that California could potentially even become a swing state. I know that sounds crazy,
Yeah, it does.
but
It's happened before. California used to be a conservative, Republican anyways. Ronald Reagan, Pete Wilson. But Anna Kasparian is saying there's going to be a huge shift. It's being documented right now. We've been talking about, do the Democrats ever recover from what happened to them on November 5th? Trump's not even in office yet. Here's a Clinton advisor and the former California state senator, Gloria Romero.
I believe that in history, we are seeing a major inflection point, the complete collapsing of the Democratic Party. This party refuses to recognize that it has lost its way. It's a chapter. It's, gone with the wind. And basically, we are seeing the end of this. Whether a new party emerges, that will wait to be seen.
We don't even know if there'll be a Democrat Party left. Hopefully they remove their funding, but all of their woke stuff that they ran on is dead. And because the woke stuff is all basically a secularist religion, and people don't tend to leave their religion even when they're persecuted for it, the Democrat Party can't change. They're largely going to end up going away, and maybe another leftist liberal party will come in their wake.
Politico with this headline. New research shows the massive hole that the Dems are in. Even voters who previously backed Democrats cast the party as weak and overly focused on diversity and elites.
But this is a systemic problem, as the interviews you reported suggest. And it's greater than just woke or DEI. It goes to the economy, the cost of living, inflation, the budget. When Bill Clinton was president, I was working for him. We cut spending, we balanced the budget, we ran a surplus. Now the Democrats have created the greatest deficit in history, and it's ultimately what cost Kamala Harris and the Democrats control of the White House and the Congress. We need a fiscally prudent Democratic Party that focuses on people's economic concerns, does a bipartisan deal on the border and immigration, gets tough on crime, and makes it clear that we stand for traditional cultural values. Unless we do that, the party's history is limited.
The party is history. That's Doug Schoen, who was a Clinton advisor. He's saying the party is dead if they don't come up with a border position that is for keeping the border. Democrats, they're going to keep their sanctuary cities, so they're done. If they can't turn around the economy, they can't help but lose money and attack small businesses. He said they have to embrace America's tradition in the social issues. That's where they have the biggest loss, and that's impossible for the Democrat Party. To become traditional on their social issues, that is never going to happen. So I'm with the other lady saying the Democrat Party is dead. It's going to stay dead. The only chance that there'll be a competing party against Trump and the Republicans will be if some new party forms. I mean, it's entirely possible that a party could form to Trump's right, like a libertarian party or something, if he's not careful.
When asked to compare the Democratic Party to an animal, one participant compared the party to an ostrich because, quote, they've got their heads in the sand and are absolutely committed to their own ideas, even when they're failing. Another likened them to koalas who are complacent and lazy about getting policy wins that we really need.
The Democrat Party, I cannot recognize it. I'm a former Democrat. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I was all about women empowerment and what she stood for. And all of a sudden, I cannot recognize what this party has become. Latinos voted in this election with their wallets. We didn't vote for pronouns. We voted for our paychecks. We voted for safety. We voted with our Catholic values. And the Democrat Party does not represent that. So it's become something we don't recognize, we don't identify with, and they've really lost us. Like Kennedy says, the party left us.
Now, that is the most interesting person. She's a Democrat. She's a big head of Wall Street, a Latino Wall Street investing company. And she's saying as a Latina and as a Catholic, she could not support what the Democrat Party did. And that's what Latinos are doing across the board, in that they left the Democrat Party. This is for those people that say, yeah, but wait till they get all the illegals to vote. Many of the illegals coming over the border are hard workers. That is, they're for capitalism and hard work. And number two, they're religious Catholics. So the social anti-religion agenda of the left is not going to float with them. The Democrats' anti-family message is not going, just because you're illegal doesn't mean you're against families, okay? So Democrat Party, I don't think they're going to be able to find their answers at the Latinos south of the border, because they could just as easily continue to flip for Trump and continue to flip for the positive, conservative family agenda of the Republican Party.
Trump flipped 10 blue counties to red counties in California alone. Mm-hmm. And to me, that definitely stems from just the disorder, the sense that people are unsafe, and I understand that the perspective or the perception of being unsafe is different from what the statistics might actually bear out. But the statistics aren't great. Okay, let's keep it real. And anyone who decides to point to the 90s to make a point about how crime isn't as bad as the 90s, like literally one of the worst periods in terms of crime spikes, you're not making a good argument. Okay, we still have not seen crime go down to pre-2019 levels in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco. And
what happened then? That's the Black Lives Matter riots. And so it's racially driven, cultural, racially driven violence by certain groups in our cities, in LA and San Francisco. That's what's destroying the Democrat Party, is they can't confront their own minority voters and say, quit committing crimes. Now we have all new forms of crime showing up in New York from illegals that came over the border. So the Republican Party loves minorities, right? We have blacks coming to vote for Trump in unprecedented numbers, and Latinos coming to vote for Republicans and Trump in unprecedented numbers. So where's the crime coming from? Basically, criminal minorities of all types, criminal minorities of blacks and Latinos are attracted to the Democrat Party. And by the way, those criminals are a minority within those minority groups. That is, they're not a majority of criminals. So the Democrats have a real branding problem, because if they go after crime, they're going after the most potent percentage of minorities in their own constituency. Because law-abiding people of all ethnicities prefer what Republicans have to offer, and that's the problem that California and the Democrat Party is facing.
Sure, you can make the argument that some violent crimes have decreased, but it's not just about violent crime. If you're a working class person living in the most expensive state in the country because of taxes and because of housing, having your $2,000 catalytic converter stolen is devastating. Every time I renew my car insurance, 2 years in a row, no tickets, no car accidents, but my car insurance keeps doubling. And it's because of street takeovers. It's because of catalytic converter thefts. It's because of vehicle thefts. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So we're all paying a price. We're all subsidizing the criminality in our state, and it's unfair. And a lot of people living here have woken up to that, and they want changes.
So they're going to remain in the past. They're going to remain unelectable, and that's good news for America. I'm John Mike Keene.